This is another question I received today. Okay, so I read to it. It says, "Well done, Lion King. Your YouTube video my question about fuel economy is quite superb. I recently installed a Belgian catalytic converter, and the engine is running well. I used to have check engine lights on my dashboard and high fuel consumption during initial start of engine. But since I put in the consumption, so since I put it, that's the since you put in the foreign use catalytic converter, the consumption became stable and the engine is running well. No struggle, stalling or misfiring. The power is also good. The only problems have been I've been having is one of my calipers holding my right wheel with ABS light constantly on my dashboard. Um, One electrician diagnosed it in Apanga and said both the front ABS sensors are bad. If the ABS or the calipers are causing the low fuel economy, can you advise on this? How do I go about the sensors? How much are the sensors and the calipers? My problem is that in Akwanga, there are no professional Peugeot mechanics. The ABS light used to come on and off, but after some time, it became on permanently. The mechanic said one out. Okay, the mechanic said that one out pass, brake pass, are the cause of the ABS light. Okay, let me go start from the beginning. Yes, I did a video. What was it? Yesterday. About your Peugeot 307, you sent a question saying the consumption, you have never exceeded 22 miles per gallon. So the car uh, is consuming high, and the engine is 1.6 liter petrol engine with TU5 JP4. Okay, you said you recently installed the catalytic converter fully used and everything is working well now. However, one of the issues you're now having is something I mentioned in the video. You said one of your brake calipers um, is binding the wheel of one of the fronts, I believe. It didn't state which side of the vehicle. Is it the front wheel or the rear wheel caliper? So but I want to believe it's the rear wheel that you meant. Let me even see. Hold on, guys. Um, yes. Okay. So one electrician. So he said one electrician diagnosed it in Akwanga and said both the front ABS sensors are bad. Yes, it could be possible. It's just that it didn't state how he came to that conclusion or how he did the diagnosis. Was it through a scan tool? Did he scan the ABS ECU or the ABS system, or he just assumed they are bad? If the ABS or calipers are causing the low fuel economy, can you advance on this? See, the thing is this. I don't know how the 307, like I mentioned in my last meeting, 307 ABS block or ABS pump is not necessarily known for locking the wheels. 407 one is known for that, but 307 is not known for that. But it doesn't mean it's not possible. Probably the other people who have experienced it. But it's not like a common issue or a non-issue, a peculiar issue with it. I'm just hearing it for the first time, which may not be the case anyway. So 307 ABS block, well, it's possible you could do that. However, you need to rule out some things before you now even talk about whether it is caused by the ABS block. Now, see, apart from the ABS pump or the block, your brake flexible hose on that wheel hub can cause the brake binding. So also the caliper can do that as well. The brake caliper on that wheel can do that. So what I always advise is start from the simplest, not just the easiest, the simplest one you can easily access before you start going electrical in this case. Now pull out the brake, loosen the brake flexible hose on that caliper. Lose it out. Especially you can start by personally I will just remove it and blow it. There are many ways of doing it while it's still on the car, but the easiest way to do it, lose it, remove it from both ends, the one on the caliper and then the other side of it that goes to the ABS block or pump. Lose it and remove the flexible hose, then blow through it. If it flows freely, then you don't have any problem. That's not the cause. Right? Then the caliper, there's a way you can also check it. You know, when you remove the brake pads or you try to remove the brake pad, you know, there's a way you can depress one side of the caliper. You see whether it gives in easily, whether it releases, because by when you remove, either you losing the nipple, the bleeding nipple, the bleed nipple on the caliper, you're losing it, and then to release pressure. So when you press the brake, the caliper in, the pinions and the caliper in, it pushes in so that I can easily remove the brake pads. If it does that, then your caliper is not the problem. You know, of course, you know the brake pads are on both sides of the caliper. One is holding the brake disc on the other side, the other is holding. So check to know if both sides can easily go in and come out when you want to remove the brake pads. That can give you, can help you rule out whether the caliper is the cause. But like I said, you have to release the pressure on the caliper first to do it. By removing the nipple or removing the first hole. In fact, do it after you've confirmed the first hole. Before you tighten in the first hole, confirm check and rule out the brake caliper on that wheel, the wheel that you are suspecting or they are telling you is locking, either the wheel or the wheels. I don't know, maybe they are saying the two. Okay, so when you do that, if they are coming out, then you can now go to the ABS block. When it comes to 307 ABS block, it's not an easy task to assess. So in other words, you must remove or drop the front bumper. And I say, even me, I don't really like doing that. It's very, very tedious and can be stressful. However, it's something that has to be done to rule things out. The first 307, you can actually easily assess the ABS pump without actually dropping the bumper, the front bumper. But in this case, you will need to drop it because of what I'm going to suggest. So when you assess the ABS block to rule out that whether the problem is coming from the ABS block. Now, of course, remove the bumper, then losing, not each wheel. You need to know which of the wheel that is having that problem that you are suspecting that is binding. I explain how to check if your wheel is binding. So losing that, there is a pipe, a brake pipe that goes to that wheel from the ABS block, the output. Focus on the output now. There's this thing that goes to that wheel. You just follow. The best way to know is follow the flexible hose from that wheel. It will connect to the brake pipe. Then the brake pipe will now go to the ABS pump. So when you get to that ABS pump, follow that line. Just follow that brake pipe. You see where it enters. So what you do is detach it from, I think, is it 10 or 11 spanner that you need. It's forgotten. So you lose it and remove it from the ABS block. Now have somebody go in and depress the brake pedal. Have somebody depress the brake pedal. If you push it down, depress the brake pedal, look at how it flows out. If it doesn't flow out effortlessly, then you know the problem is within the brake ABS block or the master. But if it flows out effortlessly, then the problem has nothing to do with the ABS block. Whether the engine is running, you can do both tests with engine running or with engine off. If I do it with both, do it first without starting the engine. Press the brake, see how it flows out effortlessly. Or better still, go and remove the what's it called? The reservoir cover, the brake fluid reservoir cover. Remove it so that brake fluid can flow easily. See if it will even flow out on its own without depressing the brake pedal. Then press it. See how does it push out. Press it as if you want to beat your brake. Push it down. How does it push? Does it really push effortlessly? Push out? Flow. Zzz. That's what I mean. So if it does that, then the issue has nothing to do with the block or the master. But if it doesn't come out or it comes out just slowly and doesn't flow well, then it means it's still within the master cylinder and the ABS block. So in this case, you can tighten back the one you remove. Now you go to what's it called? The ABS, the master cylinder. Now you will see the output. If you follow it, it depends. If it's the front end, you will see the one that comes. It's actually marked. It's marked for you to know where one is going. Though it depends on the ABS block model. But when you look at the master cylinder, you can actually tell which one is going to the right side of the front end and the left side of the front end wheel. So you follow that one that is facing the left side of the front wheel. If it's the front wheel, depending on which wheel that is doing that binding, follow which side on the master brake master cylinder, which one is facing there, then follow that pipe straight to the ABS block. That's the input. Losing it from there, remove it from the ABS block, just like you did the output. Then have the person again press the brake pedal. In this case, you may not even need to start the car. If it flows out very well from the ABS, no, from that pipe, from the input, if it flows out very well without entering the what's it called, the brake, the ABS block, then it means the problem is the block. So the fluid comes in, but the block, ABS block or pump doesn't release it out, or doesn't send it out. So you now know where your problem is. So this is a way you can do physically eliminate or diagnose without even scan to know where the problem is, which one is causing that binding, which among how many components did I mention now? The caliper one, the flexible hose two, the ABS block 3, and then the master cylinder. But most times this master cylinder usually it hardly do this kind of issue or cause this kind of issue. So I would suggest focus more on the caliper, flexible hose, and the ABS block. So, but at least now you know how to rule 3 of them out. Now I don't know, like you said, I don't know how they did the diagnosis. If it was actually scanned, I pointed that those 2 ABS sensors are bad. However, where you said you are asking, is it that okay, you said if the ABS or the calipers are causing the, no, you said trying to. Now what I'm saying is just because the 2 sensors, I think you are trying to ask. The sensors, the faulty sensors will not cause the brake wheel to start binding. That I can tell you for sure. So yes, if the sensors are bad, yeah, the ABS light will trigger, the warning will come up, and the pedal feel will become very unbearable. Well, depending on some models of the pump, ABS pump. So if they are bad, you have to replace it. However, it's not because those sensors are bad that will be the reason why the wheels are binding or the wheels are breaking themselves, applying brake by themselves, not by you or input from the driver. So you have to scan. Yes, replace those sensors. Don't even joke with any ABS fault. Could be very dangerous. You may be driving inside the city, you won't feel it until you're on highway and you may press the brake and find out that your brake is completely gone because of that ABS issue. So the sensors, how much? It depends on the quality you are buying. The ordinary new one in the market is around 5 to 7,000 per one that works. I don't know how long they will last, but they work. If you want OEM, I don't know, it probably will cost more than 10,000 naira each. So if you want the new one that will work, but it's a used one is something I will never, especially for that 307, don't waste your money buying a used ABS sensor. Just get a new one. Whether they don't buy one that doesn't work, that's fake. No, buy a good one, even if it's fake, but at least it will work and serve it for a while. If you serve it for a year, makes sense. So budget between 5 to maybe 7,000 or something like that for the new one. So if you are looking at the two, you are looking at 10,000 for the two. If you are buying the ordinary new one. So you have to find that yes, a binding brake will increase your fuel consumption. It's as simple as that. So if your one of your wheels is binding, yeah, it will drag the vehicle. So the engine has to put out more. A V6 may not feel it if one of the wheel is binding slightly. You won't feel it because it has enough power to pull. You won't even know that your car is even dragging or your wheel is binding. You just pull it and it may affect the fuel consumption a little bit, not compared to that of TU5JP4 that the power is not that much. It's there, it's average, it's good, but not that much to be able to sustain a drag on each wheel, without affecting the economy drastically. So you need to deal with it, have how to go about it. If it wasn't scanned, if it was just a guesswork that it could be, but if it was actually scanned, the ABS ECU or block, and it was scanned and it pointed at those two front wheel sensors are bad, then replace them. However, if it's also pointing, the scan is also pointing that your ABS block is bad, whether you change the sensors, it won't solve any problem. You still have to change the ABS block. So change both the sensors and the ABS block. ABS block for 307 used ones, there are about two different models, I think. One cost about 10,000 or thereabouts, or 18,000, forgotten. I don't know, so, but I know one costs between 18,000. So one is more expensive, that's what I'm saying, depending on the model of the ABS block. So, but I don't know yet if that is the cost. But trust me, if truly ABS block is the one causing the brake binding, there's nothing you can do about it. You have to replace it. Whether you replace the sensors or not, you still have to replace the ABS block. So you have to rule them out. These three things: caliper, flexible hose, and ABS pump. So I hope this helps. I can't think of any other thing now. I said, my mechanic said 1 hour brake pass, the cost of the ABS light. Come on, who is that mechanic? Who is that mechanic that is making that statement? Your ABS, your brake pass have no business with ABS light triggering or coming on. Yeah, there is a sense, there's a, see, ABS or not ABS, you have a standard braking system, whether ABS is there or not. So there's a system that monitors your thickness of the brake pad and stuff like that. I want to do with your ABS. So to claim that your ABS, because your pad has worn, that is the cause. Come on, there are some brake pads that when you put them, after a while, that cable that connects to the vehicle wiring system to monitor your your brake pads wear, sometimes they cut off. But you don't see the warning trigger. You don't see any warning. You may not even see the light showing you that your ABS, your brake pads have worn, that you need to replace them. So if those wires are not there and yet you're not getting those warnings, how the hell will the ABS block know that your brake pads have worn? Or unless the mechanic doesn't even understand it. How does the ABS wheel sensor that's attached on the hub, where is it pointing at? Is it on the brake pad? Come on, who is even making that statement? That's what I'm saying. People don't really, when you understand, people need to understand the working of these cars before they start making. Anyway, everybody can be an expert anyway. So I'm saying your mechanic is wrong. There's nothing to your brake pad one, or the where the if your brake pads have worn, it has nothing to do with your ABS light warning. So I hope that corrects it anyway. All right, so done for this one.